Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Research Notes podcast series. Today, I'm excited because my guest also has a PhD, our very first and hopefully not our last PhD interviewee. It is Dr. Qhelile Bhebhe, who is a researcher, a blogger, and food systems enthusiast. Her field is agriculture and her subspecialty is food security. She holds a BSc in agronomy from the Midlands State University in Zimbabwe, a master's in sustainable agriculture from the University of the Free State in South Africa, and a PhD from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. She is driven by the core belief that everyone has the right to food and is passionate about poverty eradication and food security in Africa and the world at large. She wishes to use her education to actively participate in serving the needs of the hungry and those living in poverty while making sure that these needs are met responsibly and sustainably without damaging the planet's resources. I was really scared about doing this intro, but I'm so glad I nailed it. Qhelile, thank you so much for agreeing to participate. How are you today?
I'm all right. Thank you so much for interviewing me. Such an honor to be here.
Awesome. Thanks to you too once again. Could you please kindly share with us your journey in terms of how you get to where you are today academically?
Thank you so much for the question. You know, my faith is a great part of my life. So I think it
Mm,
has been through the grace and through the mercy of God who has enabled me to be here. He has given me the wisdom, He has given me the intelligence. And I, th- I thank God. Right now, I
mm,
am focusing on food security studies, and I recently completed my PhD in food security. And I can say another thing that has gotten me here is never giving up because it's been a long journey. And I went through my undergrad, I did my master's, and I also did my
mm.
PhD without taking any breaks.
Oh,
So yeah, I did that without taking any breaks. So I think never giving up, being consistent, showing up has gotten me to where I am today. Because school is hard, just like any form of training. It's not easy at all. And back to my field of study.
yes.
I have been focusing mainly on food security studies, and food security is a measure of an individual's ability to access food that is safe, that is nutritious, and that
Mm,
meets their dietary requirements and also their preferences for an active and for a healthy lifestyle. And there are different pillars to this, which are availability, access to food, the utilization of food, and the stability of food. And there has been some pillars that have also been added as well because the concept just keeps on evolving, like sustainability of food and
mm.
also the agency as well. So for those that do not know what food security is, I think this brief summary kind of like explains the research that I have been doing. My research, I believe that it has the potential to better tackle the problems
Mhm.
that we have within the current food system. There are some socio-economic, political, cultural, and environmental factors that have been negatively affecting food security.
Mm,
And I believe that my research has the potential to help whoever is making decisions, promote
okay.
sustainable food security and the availability of food, especially in African communities, without degrading the natural resources that are already there. Because I have been looking at how trees and how green spaces contribute to people's livelihoods, contribute to food and nutrition security,
Mm,
and also to the sustainability of the ecosystem. So I believe that the recommendations that I came up with for my research can greatly influence policy making.
Thank you so much for that. I personally didn't even know that trees are part of contributing to our food security and sustainability. So definitely looking forward to reading your thesis once it's published. And I hope that
Thank
policymakers
you.
and other experts will take it up. So just to take the viewers and listeners back, I like how you spoke about your journey in terms of consistency and showing up, because those are very important elements. And I think in many ways, when people say, how did you make it? The major difference between us who've got the PhDs and maybe those who didn't end up managing to get them is those two factors: consistently showing up. And you brought about the issue of faith and being God led. I personally also believe in the same. And it's important to have that kind of spiritual guidance. Of course, I'm not imposing Christianity on people, but it also helps because you aren't just a physical machine, ultimately.
Mhm. Mhm.
So thank you so much for highlighting those important key points from your experience. And then moving on to your research, I always thought that people who are in the STEM field, um, are doing all these things that are super scientific and difficult to understand. But I'm gathering from you here that when you touch on food security, obviously you're putting a human face to your
Mhm.
concepts as well as to your research. Now, we speak a lot about women in STEM as being very important, and it's a popular buzz phrase. It's encouraging to
Yeah.
know that, more women are being encouraged and supported to enter the STEM field. How has been your experience being a woman in STEM?
My research leans so much like on the social sciences
Mm-hmm.
side, but I like to believe that I'm also part of the STEM field.
Of course,
And
you
for
are.
a long time, yeah, yeah, for a long time, women were not represented much in the STEM field. And it is great to be part of this because anyone who wants to be part of STEM can be part of STEM.
Mm-hmm.
Through the involvement and the recognition of women in STEM, we are addressing gender difference. We are addressing gender differences. We are
Mm-hmm.
advocating for gender equality, and we are
Yes,
making people aware of the fact that women too are brilliant, women are
excellent.
excellent, and women are capable, and they should be included and be given an equal opportunity to succeed. So seeing other women, especially African women in the field,
Yes.
inventing, innovating, building multi-million dollar companies and offering solutions eh, that make this world a better place, solutions to COVID-19, solutions to HIV and AIDS, the energy shortages that we're facing in Africa, deforestation, mental health issues. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
solutions that women in STEM are coming up with. So it's great. It's great to be part of this. It's great to see that there are other, to grow up seeing other examples like me gives me so much hope as a young imaging researcher,
Yes.
that I too can achieve great things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So for those of us who may not know, we use STEM and we might have an idea of what STEM is. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So obviously the agricultural sciences fall within the science branch of it. Now
Yeah.
I want to still stay in the lane of research, you know, because you're working on sustainability and our food security. I trust you right now. So just know that my food security is partly in your hands. How do you how do you intend to maintain your relevance as a researcher moving forward?
Okay. There is a verse in the Bible that says, whatever your hands find to do, do it with all might.
Mm,
Excellence will always make you stand out. That's for a fact.
yeah.
But there are other ways that I intend to use to stay relevant. Firstly, continuous learning. You know, for
Mm-hmm.
you to stay relevant, you have to learn continuously. In my language, we say ukufunda akupheli.
Yes.
And I think in yours, you say kudziza akuperi.
Yes, definitely.
you know. So I understand that I have to keep on expanding my knowledge, staying up to date with the latest advancements, and so on and so forth. Secondly, I need to network so that I can engage with
Mm,
other experts as well, collaborate, exchange ideas, because no man is an island.
of course.
Thirdly, I plan on applying what I've been learning and what has been discovered through research as well, because there's a huge gap between research and practical application. Most
Mm,
researchers that just research, they find information, and then they don't apply it to the field. So I plan on translating my findings and the solutions that I come up with to applying them in the communities that I live in,
mm-hmm.
or just publishing them and making them available for the world to see so that they can be implemented in policy making, so that they can be applied by organizations and so on and so forth. And then, lastly and most importantly, I'm interested in mentoring and educating others as well. Because in order for you to grow, you need to share knowledge, you need to share opportunities, you need to be willing to help another person rise.
Yes.
So iron sharpens iron, and I believe that as you help others, you rise as well. Continue staying relevant.
Wow, that's such a wholesome contribution. And this is research notes. I hope people are writing their research notes. I managed to capture from the points you raised. You spoke about the importance of collaboration, applying what you have learned throughout the years, and also what others have contributed, which I think is very important because we can't operate in silos. It's good to incorporate different
Yeah.
research findings. Yes. And the aspects
Mm-hmm.
of mentoring and, spreading the education. I must say this counts, please, because you are mentoring someone
Yes.
indirectly and educating them through this particular episode. Yes. So continue
Yeah.
doing the good work.
Thank
So
you.
besides specifically research and the academic journey you've been on, what else are you interested
Mm.
in, and why is it important to be a versatile human being?
Currently, I am interested in agribusinesses. I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in agri technologies as well, and that is far from my research. Because remember, I've been focusing on food security studies for my master's and for my PhD. So
Yes.
it's interesting to know that agriculture or agribusinesses cannot just be about production only. There is so
Mm,
much that you can do, and there's so many technologies that you can apply along the agricultural value chain. So the agricultural value chain is how a product, an agricultural product, moves from the producer to the consumer.
mm,
There are many technologies that you can apply. There's so many things that you can do along the value chain. So I wish to explore that as well. And in order to make money and to earn a living
yes.
nowadays, you need to solve a problem. And the problems that we have are complex. For example, food insecurity is linked to a lot of other issues like um, so the opposite of food security is food insecurity,
Mm,
and that is a problem that we have. That is a problem that we intend to solve. It's linked to other things such as climate change. It's linked to population increases, the
mm,
social injustices as well. And they also add health issues like COVID-19 pandemic, and all of those things have negatively impacted food security. In order to address those complexities, you must be versatile. You know,
yes.
you must be able to do a lot of different things. Even as a researcher, you must be transdisciplinary, you know. And lastly, even if you are an academic like me,
Mm.
Fundile and everything, don't neglect your other gifts.
Yes.
Don't neglect your other talents as well. Explore them, practice them. If you can sing, sing. If you can do sport, do sport.
Yes.
Don't put yourself in a box. and say I'm a teacher, or I'm a nurse, or I'm this, I'm that, and that's that. No, just be a person who happens to be a teacher and also play sport and also sing as well. You know,
Yes.
I think I have answered the question.
I'm gonna probe further. So what does that look like for you, this being versatile, this not just being a researcher? What do you do?
I thank God. I thank God that I managed to grasp grasp that early,
Mm,
because some people tend to make this thing their identity, like my research, I'm a researcher, I'm an architect,
oh,
I'm a nerd, I'm this and that. There's no need for all of those things. You can be brilliant, you can be a book smart,
mhm,
and still be good at other things as well, So I'm happy that I managed to grasp that early, to not make this my identity, to
yes,
not make this me, but to be Qhelile, who just happens to have a PhD, because I'm capable of a whole lot of other things as
yes,
well, apart from this is just like one part of my life.
yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that. I can't really say that maybe it's something I was very much aware of initially. I think probably the half of my PhD, I was Primrose, the nerd, the academic, this intellectual, this thought leader. And that was my life. But now I've evolved,
Mhm.
I actively take up my identity as a hiker, as a runner, as a content,
Yeah.
creator, all of that. And I must attest to say that it really gives life a different meaning and it helps me to
Yeah.
just be a human. Like I'm not an academic zombie,
Mm.
you know.
You
Yes.
know how publish or perish. How
Yo, listen, I'm like,
versatile.
I need to publish, otherwise I'm dead.
Hi, Bob.
Which is a very I honestly like
Hi,
I was
Bob.
on that for a long time, but I've since moved and I'm
Mm.
grateful and I hope that other people are realizing it through our conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've come to a point in the discussion where I ask you, before we part, if you've got any questions that you'd like to direct to me, that you'd like me to answer in response to you, and also that the viewers and listeners can get a hold of.
Yeah, I do have questions, maybe one or
Awesome.
or two. Yeah,
Okay,
two.
two or
So
one is
first
fine, yes.
question. So what is it that you want to achieve through this podcast?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first question. And the second question is, why did you choose to interview me today? Because there are so many people that you could have talked to, that you could have interviewed. So why me?
So I started research notes because I was thinking of how I need to promote other people's research and also to demystify this thing of what do people in academia really do. Yes, I might have my channel. I'm speaking to people about research and being a runner, a hiker, and doing different things. But there's so many more people who have also, holistic and wholesome life experiences. So I wanted to showcase that as a means to inspire those who want to, pursue similar journeys, but also as a means to show that, this world is not only about publish or perish, through proper
Yeah.
testaments. So to
Mm-hmm.
give a more humane face to what academics are about, also, I don't only speak to academics, I am speaking to people who are journalists. I'm also speaking to people who are development practitioners and also to people who have their own businesses. So I'm trying to show how having a research oriented degree like a master's or PhD can also lead to different things so that people don't just think, oh my goodness, this is just a station for people who want to read, and write and lecture, you know and
Yeah.
publish. I asked to interview because furthermore, I mean, first of all, I know you, right? I had to go
Mm-hmm.
to a list of, okay, who do I know who fits into
Mm-hmm.
these profiles? And under academics, obviously, you're one of the first names that came about. And I also particularly like the fact that you've got an orientation towards what could be defined as the sciences or agricultural science, because I mostly know people in the social sciences because of how I just groomed myself and the friends that I ended up having. And I thought, you would actually give us further insights. I've been on your blog or your website, and I've also listened to one of the podcasts you've done recently. So all those factors contributed to me shortlisting you, and I was just like, I hope that Qhelile is gonna say yes. So that people
Yeah.
can definitely hear more from you. And I think I've had conversations with you in the past when I didn't know that I would have research notes speaking about how we need to talk about the work we do, and put it out there. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much. That's such a brilliant answer. And thank you so much for this podcast. It's such a
Yes.
blessing, because we get to see
Mm-hmm.
what other researchers are going through. We get to see that there's more
Exactly.
to this. There's a
Mm,
life, challenges that
yes.
people face, the research that people are doing, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much for this podcast, because I think it's going to open a lot of minds, going to help a lot of people also
Mm,
discover themselves and what they want to do and how they want to do it.
awesome. I hope so too, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I wish you all the best. I wish
Thank
you
you. I need
all the
that.
best.
Yeah. So before we
Yeah.
go, do you have any special last words for our viewers as well as listeners?
Yeah. I don't have much to say, but maybe I'll just encourage someone to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is that they want to do, whether they're
Yeah.
afraid, whether they're scared,
Mm,
whether they are motivated to do it or whatever, just shoot your shot, go
yeah.
for it.
Nice.
And
Just short
even
and
if
go
it's
for it.
leaving a space, yes, even if it's leaving a space that is no longer serving you, leave.
Mm.
That is how we grow. So just do it.
Thank you so much. Just do it. And also, if it means living a space to go to a space which will accommodate, your dreams, your goals, and your development,
Yeah.
just do it.
Mm.
Yes. So what I'm getting from you is also that, just because we're here doesn't mean we're always raring to go and brave. There are moments of fear, but, we push through the fear. We
Yeah.
stay consistent through the fear. We show up through the fear.
Yeah, we do. We do it shake. We do it scared,
Yes.
shaking, broke,
Trembling.
afraid.
Yeah.
We just do it.
Thank you so much for joining us once again, Dr. Qhelile Bhebhe, as well as our viewers and listeners today. I'm Dr. Pizza Jade Ima. I'm on a mission to demystify the world of research by engaging with a wide set of intellectuals, academics, industry professionals, as well as creators. It's goodbye for now.